Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be playing Starcraft 2 co-op on the level Temples of the Past, I think is what it was called. The objective of this map is to defend the temple for 20 or 25 minutes, and if you do that without the temples dying, you win. I'm going to be playing this on Brutal Plus, and Brutal Plus makes it so there's 3 random mutations that make the game harder. The mutations that I have are Self-Destruction, enemy units explode and deal damage to nearby player units upon death. Concussive attacks, which means player units are slowed by all enemy attacks. This one usually doesn't add too much difficulty, but it does feel pretty tedious. And then we also have Inspiration, which I'll be looking at in a moment here. I'm moving an SCV from my main base over to the side here so that I can get a quick expansion going. Command centers are 400, so you usually want to send the SCV over at like the 300 mark. And aside from that, just make sure you keep training SCVs. Okay, but now back to Inspiration. Enemy heroic units increase the attack speed and armor of all enemies within a small range. Okay, so these shouldn't be too hard as far as mutations go, so I think we should have this one in the bag. 200, probably a good time to start getting some refineries going. The hero that I'm playing, Tychus, instead of building up a large army, you just control 5 heroes, which I actually think is quite a bit more fun than having to control a huge army, but it's not too bad either way. But the thing that's kind of unique about Tychus, aside from the fact that he controls heroes, is that all of his upgrades are extremely gas expensive, so we will probably barely be able to get every upgrade by the time the game is over, just due to the high price. So yeah, we're going to get that double, triple refinery going nice and quickly here. And when I'm going to set Tychus to automatically rally to my expansion on the right, so that we can get the rocks down quickly and get some income going.
What's in it for me?
The second commander that I'm going, or not commander, hero that I'm going to be making is Rattlesnake. He's kind of the classic support for Tychus. You'll give him a healing aura along with adequate DPS. For the most part, you just pick him because of the healing. You can also tank a few hits if you're in a pinch. Alright, the expansion rocks are down, so we can send Tychus back over to the middle. And we should probably start getting the hideouts up now. Normally I would get these up a little bit sooner, but because we were against... Well, in this case I had just forgotten to build them, but not a huge deal since we were against mechs, which Tychus is really good against. Yeah, normally what you'd want to do is get the hideout that you want before the enemy's attack so that you can get your second commander up a little bit sooner. And yeah, here's the concussive attack that I mentioned. So Tychus is just going to lose 50% of its movement speed for like a minute or two. It is a really long slow. And now is about the time that we can move the command center to the superior position. Make sure you don't let your SCVs run away. They'll waste quite a bit of time doing that. There we go.
Rattlesnake on the job.
We now have Rattlesnake for that extra heal that I had mentioned.
What's in it for me?
This war leaves no room for civilians.
Don't.
And when you move the command center, you need to redo the mineral rally point, so don't forget to do that.
I'm in a world of hurt.
I'm a bad man.
And it also looks like I have finished getting enough SCVs at my main command center, so we can send the rally point here to the right as well. Also, if you guys enjoy my videos, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you're interested in playing some games with me, I do a live stream on YouTube every Saturday, so make sure you have your notifications set to all to be notified for exactly when those begin. The upgrade I just got here at the Muscle Armory is the Umogen signal modulator that increases the healing rate of the Revitalizer by 100%, which I think takes it from 2% to 4%. Yeah, and 4% life, while it doesn't sound like too much, is still pretty useful because the heroes all have a really high base HP pool relative to most other units in the game. Like these SCVs have 45, for reference.
Our allies' base is under attack.
One other nice thing, let me see how many more SCVs I need. Yeah, you need, let's see, So we have, yeah, 2, and then we just need 2 more each. Yep, so 1 SCV to go, and that should do the trick. Actually, never mind. Looks like I overproduced. Okay. With that, we're now done training SCVs. Let Tychus continue to heal up in the aura for a moment before we move out. Upgrades I'm getting at my engineering bays are going to be outlaw weapons, outlaw armor, and outlaw attack speed. The attack speed only applies to the DPS heroes like Tychus and a few of the other ones, specifically the first row. Next unit that I'm going to be getting is James Sykes. He has the ability to place turrets, which are pretty useful at absorbing some damage and doing a fair amount of DPS. Okay, next upgrade I'm going to get is the Vanadium Shell. That will increase the base damage of Tychus's attack grenade by 50, which is usually enough to make it so Tychus can take out pretty much all mid-tier units in one hit with the grenade. So like the Goliaths that were previously would have taken 2 grenades will now die in 1, which is really useful. Okay, what I'm going to get now is the medevac platform. The medevac platform is pretty useful because it allows us to relocate our heroes on a short cooldown. I think it's like 2 minutes. But since we get 3 of them, that means we have 3 charges of the relocation. So this is just really important for getting Tychus around the map quickly, especially on this map since we have concussive attacks. One other thing that is useful about the turrets from Sykes is that they are detectors, which means that they can reveal invisible units. Accidentally just researched something at random there. Looks like I got Kalmorian Ripper rounds. That's actually fine. Normally I wouldn't get that upgrade quite this early, but it's a solid upgrade, and we would have eventually gotten it anyway. The upgrade that I would have gotten next instead is the Thunderbolt missiles, but I had enough spare resources that I was able to get it anyway. The Thunderbolt missiles are quite good against air units, and sometimes certain structures can also be attacked by the Thunderbolt missiles simultaneously, which, yeah, just really makes the turrets quite high on the DPS side. So it looks like I was slightly off on my grenade prediction. Looks like there's still about 10 damage short from one-shotting a Goliath, but that's not a big deal. That also could have been because of the armor aura from Inspiration. They lived with a very low amount of health. And yeah, so since we have 3 medevac platforms, that one is now on cooldown, which is represented by the dark dot at the top left, and when it comes back online, it'll glow again.
A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Next up, we will get the Aggression Blend. The Aggression Blend gives you a attack speed boost for your towers, or not your towers, your units. I think it said 15%, or maybe it was 25. Yeah, 15%. And for whatever reason, I've noticed a lot of attack speed upgrades don't seem to affect Tychus. Yeah, so he gets no benefit, but your other heroes will, and it's a solid DPS boost. Okay, with that, we have the last special upgrade at the Engineering Center being completed right now. I'm noticing it seems like I'm missing an SCV. Did it end up here? Alright, well it's not a huge deal, we'll just train one more. Must have accidentally moved one too many earlier.
Warning. Hybrid detected.
In the eyes of your Emperor, there is no greater threat.
So my ally just used one of his abilities. A little bit of a waste there, because we weren't in any danger.
The temple's preparations are proceeding as planned.
Okay, the next unit I'm going to get is Vega. Vega has the ability to mind control enemies, and since we're against Terrans, they usually have battle cruisers, which are really good to mind control. They're quite powerful and have a ton of DPS. I'm going to research the healing mind control upgrade, which will make it so any unit you mind control automatically restores to full. And that's the only one we need from Vega for the moment. The next upgrade we'll get is Tychus's damage upgrades, and then we should be good. I'll teleport my heroes to the right in a moment once I take out this wave. Looks like there's one more coming, but Red should easily be able to handle that. Okay, and that is the Void Thrasher down. Void Thrashers usually are pretty quick to kill, so as long as you have some map presence, it shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Enemy's remains. Don't provoke me.
Going to teleport all of my units over here so I can complete the final bonus objective. Looks like red is going for a strike turret, or whatever they're called. It basically is a global turret where you can summon some moderately powerful projectiles on a low cooldown.
Oh, you didn't tell me your
In fact, it looks like he was already managing this. Seems like he was able to finish it before I even got here. Which is fine. We have a lot of global mobility, so that's not a big deal.
One step closer.
Our allies are being attacked.
Just going to keep the outlaw weapons researches going at my main engineering chambers. And aside from that, we now have to decide what we want for our 5th outlaw and what we want to do for our upgrades, because we can split them around a little. Yeah, the explosions from the units killed the battlecruiser. Oh well. The mind-controlled units only last for a minute or so anyway, so we wouldn't have kept it much longer. There's an upgrade that can increase the duration, so maybe that's what we'll go for next.
Don't waste my time.
As far as the next unit goes, though, occasionally I pick up Crooked Sam. His DPS is pretty terrible, but he has a couple of good abilities. You also have Nux, who's pretty good against
Enemy drop pods.
Zerg, but we're against the mechs right now. She's okay.
We can destroy any foe.
I guess I'll still go for Nux anyway. The other units are just pretty weak. If we really needed a
Amon
tank,
has
we
summoned
could
the
have
Void
picked up
Thrasher. It will
the...
severely harm the temple
I don't
for as
remember his
long as
name,
it
but he's
lives.
the miner guy. He has the ability to chain hook to incoming units, which can be helpful. The reason I went for Nux is because his ultimate ability decreases the cooldowns of your allies' abilities by 20%, and since every hero in this game, for the most part, has a strong ability, that's really useful.
Not enough minerals.
And with that, we've used up all of our minerals, so we're back down to 0, which is good. Starcraft 2, one of your objectives is usually to keep your minerals low, because that means you're allocating your resources effectively. And here are those earth splitters that I was mentioning. So each of these just has the ability to call down little strikes wherever he wants. Not sure what he's currently targeting, though. I guess just still going right here for some reason.
New hybrid signature.
The next unit that I'll be maxing out is Tychus, or Sirius. He has the ability to get stronger turrets with his ultimate, 75% increased damage and life of turrets, which is really useful.
Insufficient SP gas.
And yeah, we're now out of gas for now, which means it's going to be slightly delayed on getting our final level of health upgrades for our heroes. Unlike most of the heroes, the Outlaws have 5 level, or other commanders, the Outlaws have 5 levels of damage upgrades instead of 3. And each level of armor gives them 10% additional HP. On top of, I think, 1 armor as well.
Our allies' base is under attack.
Does he need any help here? I think he's got it covered. So, with a little bit of spare time that we have right now, I'm just going to take out the structures in the bottom right. This is useful for the upcoming Void Thrashers that we'll be taking out down here. And if possible, if we are able to keep a Void Thrash, or a turret up, it'll let us to teleport to the Vision using our medevacs. Okay, it looks like it's a good time for me to blink back, so let me go ahead and medevac teleport.
Enemy drop pods.
Incoming.
With Nux, I also have the ultrasonic pulse available, which we can use for the incoming waves of units. It has a pretty large AoE and does 30 damage per second, so it's a really solid DPS boost if you're not killing them instantly already.
Enemy drop pods.
Snagged a couple of battlecruisers.
Under attack.
Okay, let's get those extra upgrades on Sirius. So now my turrets are 75% stronger, bringing them up to 40 damage and 320 HP. They're also affected by the hero health and armor upgrades, so they're getting stronger from that as well. So, in about a minute or two here, the Void Thrashers should spawn, so I'm going to start heading that
I
direction.
didn't hear no
Upgrade
magic word.
complete.
One other thing worth mentioning about the Medivacs is they will dispel the concussive attacks, so even just using the Medivac exactly where you're standing can save you some time.
Preparations are nearly complete, Commanders. Defend the temple for just a few more moments.
The throne depends on your
Okay,
excellence.
next up we will get, I suppose, the Vega upgrades. Pretty
Several Void Thrashers
unimportant,
are
but
besieging
we can
the
do it
temple.
anyway.
They must be annihilated.
Our allies'
Alright, our Void Thrasher is down. We can go ahead and teleport either here or to the other Void Thrasher. Looks like we'll probably end up doing both. Yeah, for whatever reason it seems like he missed targeting the Void Thrasher.
Concentrate fire on this location.
Alright, so with that, there's just going to be 2 more minutes of pretty easy incoming waves of units that we'll have to deal with, but it's not going to be a problem.
A man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Your forces are under hybrid detected. Marking location now.
Understood. Remove the
Looks like
hybrid
one's
on
probably
my
going to spawn at the
authority.
bottom right as well. Yeah, one of the good combos is Tychus's Implosion Core plus Nux's Ultra Ionic Pulse, because then you'll pull all the units into a small little group, which you then follow up with 30 DPS. So I guess while we wait for a minute and a half pretty peacefully for this to end, I'll give some final thoughts on this. So as I had already mentioned, if you like StarCraft 2 co-op, now's a good time to play. Every commander can be leveled up to 15, and at the end of April 2nd, you will be able to retain the commander's level if you choose to purchase it. Otherwise, you can keep playing the commanders at level 5.
Being attacked.
And what else?
Stupid.
Yeah, Brutal Plus. One of my only complaints about Brutal Plus is that the difficulty is really inconsistent. This time we had pretty much trivial mutations, so there was no difficulty added at all. But some of the mods are actually unbelievably difficult.
Are being attacked.
Like, one of the mods that I recall being the hardest
Our allies'
is
base
the,
under attack.
I think it is called
Gotta do what a man's
Unnatural Attraction or something. But basically what it does is every time you kill a unit, it stuns your heroes for 1 second and also pulls them towards the unit that they just killed. And it's like, that is 10 times harder than any of the mods I have here. So, I wish they had kind of leveled them out a bit. Some of them are a little too easy, and some are just a little too hard.
never lets you down.
So, if you guys liked that video, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to play some games with me, I do a live stream every Saturday, so make sure you have your notifications set to all. Also, let me know if you want to see some more StarCraft 2 co-op videos in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.